Hi, I'm Jen Brandmeier. I'm the owner of COV Consultants. Thank you guys for having me speak today. We do operations consulting, and for us that is collaboration, project management. We do system implementation research. We'll do an implementation. We work primarily in hospitality. It's where we're most comfortable, our background is, but we also have been in healthcare, real estate, and in the end, process and systems. It's about conversation and collaboration anyway. And my glasses are glaring, so I'm just going to take those off. Sorry, guys. And I will say, I'm not a salesperson. That's a whole different skill set, but I am still going to make fun of salespeople while we talk through this. And I would say it takes a special set of skills to do what we do, to turn the ugliest, steamiest pile of a deal into a referenceable contact, right? That is a special set. So it's lovely to see so many special pro services folks out in the wild. So thank you. Just a little bit more about me. My experience is not in public speaking. This is the first live presentation I've done like this, so I appreciate a little grace. But anyway, experience I have in the last several companies has been more about go in, find the problem, fix it, move to the next one. We always talk about you find a rock, you pick it up, there's either worms underneath or maybe there's nothing, and that one you can move along. But more often than not, we find worms, and that means more operations process design, implementation, those types of things. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some of those experiences, primarily system implementations internally, different ways that we've figured out how to create change. And one of the things that I find the most entertaining about internal system implementations, a lot of us here in this room are companies that provide software to help other businesses run their business or do something more effectively, right? But we're not good at change, right? Internally, it's like the calls coming from inside the house, we say. So we expect our clients to make significant changes to their operations to be able to use the tool that we designed, but we're not so great at it ourselves. So when we talk about these kinds of adoption, it's different things we can do to help our team, but I think that this kind of experience is relevant to our customers as well, because they need to be agents for change in their organizations to drive organization adoption. So, that's not the right slide. We're going to start here. Sorry. So talk about change conversations. One of the things when we talk about it, it's like change is hard. We all hear that over, and change is hard, and people pout and they get big feelings about it. But we've all been through implementations, and we know that overcoming these kinds of objections is more about figuring out why somebody feels the way that they do. They're not going to tell you that. Nobody wants to be vulnerable, not those kinds of things. But there are different ways that you can find that out in between, digging down deep. And one of the things we say is every hotel is exactly the same in that they're all entirely different, even within the same brand, even in the same city. When it comes to system implementations, taxes could be different, or maybe you have a plastic bag fee or a sugary drink fee at one property that you don't have at the other one, or maybe you're in New York and half the city can sell alcohol and the other half can't. It's just, they're all different. And the same is true in every company. When it comes to change, it's hard for everyone. Okay, now we have to go. Sorry, this is out of order. First time, guys. All right, sorry. This works. All right, so one of the things that I want to say, just first of all, we need to listen. We need to treat our internal customers with the same level of empathy and care that we would talk to our our clients, the people that pay us every day. So we talk about listening to other team members, hear their concerns, ask what they want. Find the sticks in the mud and try to, be their friend, hear what they have to say, figure out how to win them over. We all know all of these things. But if we pause and listen to our teammates and be an authentically and objectively good teammate, we can make all of these other things that we're trying to do happen much easier. Like I said, this isn't an entirely altruistic adventure that we're on. We're trying to find ways that we can get what we want out of an implementation simply. So, a short story, one of my teammates is head of product. We were at Happy, and I had just joined the company, and he was talking about the new product that they were putting in. It was a different integration, and he was going on and on and on, and I just asked this super simple question, this is great, super excited for this new integration, it's gonna be awesome for our clients, we're gonna be able to know that X guest is allergic to peanuts throughout the whole organization. Cool, great, awesome. I said, where's the documentation on this so I can share with the customer? And he goes, oh, everything's in Confluence. I said, wow, I have never worked in an organization that would share a Confluence page with a customer before. Obviously, we don't share customers' Confluence or we don't do that. I knew that we didn't do that, but he didn't know that right? We kind of play that little game. And he thought that I was crazy. Obviously, I wasn't. But what I was doing was planting that little seed of we need some way to be able to communicate to our customers documentations. We need client-friendly solution for those kinds of things, like release notes. Super simple. So we say, listen. So understanding objections. Sorry. So we say change is hard, but why is it? So no one's going to tell you why. My experience over all these years for the different implementations in different companies that I've been at, these are sort of the things behind those statements. We talk about sunk cost. Yes, of course, we're talking about actual cash, right? There is an actual capital cost to every system implementation. There are easy ways easy. It's a relative term, but you can find the metrics for all of those kinds of things, metrics, licenses, all that stuff. But I'm talking here more the intangible costs of the emotion that people, for whatever reason, develop ties to different systems. The time that they sunk into something, there's training, you have to build up the new organization, you have to update documentation. So when they're saying it's so expensive to do these things. One situation that we had was we had to credit a customer about $5,000 because our documentation didn't tell them how many SSLs they had to buy. It's just SSLs, right? No big deal. But they bought double the number that they needed, so we had to credit them $5,000, which we're a very small company when we're doing this implementation. So Bob had to give them the credit, and they were arguing about that. And I said, wouldn't you rather spend $2,000 now, write the documentation, take the pause, make sure that everything is right? Wouldn't you rather do that? Or would you rather continually give $5,000 away because we didn't update the documentation and customers keep buying stuff that they can't get a refund for because Salesforce doesn't ever give a refund, right? So those kinds of conversations kept coming up over and over again, and I would use those same little those same little nuggets and different ways to tell folks that there's different ways to do things. So, sorry guys. Comfort, right? So folks will say, one of my favorites, they like their spreadsheets. Folks love their spreadsheets. This works fine for me. I don't want to learn anything new. I don't understand why I should have to learn something new. Nothing's perfect. Why can't I just keep this? Those conversations go on and on and on. Another scenario that I ran into was I was trying to reconcile project costs, which should be relatively easy, but unfortunately that's not the case when you're using Jira for time tracking, and your devs are using everything in Jira. And so I asked for the team member to do an export from Jira of all the time entries, which is virtually